Hello everybody, it's Peter the Rock. I'm under a tree in a cemetery and I just want to give you a flavour of this cemetery, which is one of the most ordered and beautiful ones I've ever seen. That grave over there has got some marvellous daffodils all over it. There's all sorts of ages and death dates all jumbled up here, and there's no rationale behind it. I can see, in loving memory of a dear husband, dad, granddad and great-granddad, Ernest Picton, July 1998 is a typical example. But there are some beautiful graves. Some still have flowers on them. They're regularly visited by the relatives. Some have nothing at all, not even a headstone. But it's sort of poignant, really. You can picture the scene: a loved one departs, probably of a great age, but even more poignantly if it's somebody quite young. And there are all ages, as I say here, and them all gathering round the hole in the ground, and the priest saying a few words, this scattering of lowering of the coffin into the grave, to rest there eternally, or for however long you sort of have that space before the space is needed, maybe 100 years, 200 years later, for another grave. Don't quite know how it works. I think very few people actually get buried these days, maybe because there just isn't enough land. But this will give you a flavour, if that's the word, of a very full cemetery, with some beautiful individually designed Celtic cross there, grave, and when people go, you don't know what to do really, and so you give them a decent send-off. Interesting one here, in loving memory of Amy, wife of Samuel Chew Hooper of Scotchbridge House, Rickmansworth, who died May the 15th, 1912, aged 34. May the 15th, 1912 was the Titanic year. I don't think it was May though. Also John Ettershank of Melbourne, Australia, who died also in 1912, 3 months later, aged 82, which is immaculately kept. So that's red granite, that lasts. I think it appears in some of the pyramids. The Egyptians wanted things to last, and they have done. There's an extraordinary block of stone there. Unfortunately, the inscription is no longer that legible. And to finish off, I want to show you a tree. Just have a look at this. Treasured memories, a devoted wife and mother, Eva Chapman, called away March the 7th, 1944, aged 64. Her husband George, 1964, 23 years later. So you always think on the dates, if they're in the war years, if it was somehow they died because of the war. Millions did, of course, in both world wars, which makes the whole idea of war just crazy to my mind. Anyway, here is a giant redwood. Just look at it. It goes on, reaching the sky, almost reaching the sky. This is really Jack and the Beanstalk territory. There's another one over there. I mean, these were only sort of started in Victorian times. Now, I don't know if you know, but a tree can grow from a seed, and a seed can be contained in an acorn like that. Just falls from another tree, And this is in fact a giant redwood acorn. It's probably got a technical name, but out of a seed that big, you know, a couple of millimeters, can grow something weighing several tons, and just goes on, getting taller and taller for maybe 1,000 years. So I think the people who are lying here underground, all be bones or less than that by now, would probably like to think that they were feeding something living. And a tree, a redwood, giant redwood, is the oldest living thing on the planet, I think. If I've got that wrong, I'm sure you'll let me know. Now here's a loving memory of John Herbert Chapel, August 1868 to May 1944. Elsie Irene Eva Chapel, Jessie Isabella Chapel. A variety of dates there. The reason I'm showing that is because a very good friend of mine was called Jonathan Chapel when I was at a university, and he was quite a character, but I don't think he came from around here or didn't end up, hasn't got family around here, I don't know, but very interesting bloke studying French. How are you, Jonathan, if you're watching? And there are, you know, a variety. I suppose, you know, if you're going to bury someone, you go into and look at a sort of scrapbook of potential memorials and you choose, or you get a stonemason or something to prepare it, and it must take quite a long time to make some of these memorials. Anyway, I've been rabbiting on far too long, but I just wanted to give you a flavour of a very typical English/British cemetery. This happens to be the one in Chorleywood, and I shall carry on exploring. I'm making my way slowly and hopefully looking at some high spots, not just cemeteries, on the way to Chorleywood. Thanks a lot for watching. It's Peter the Rock. It's Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, 17th of March. Like and subscribe. Cheers.